Dear participants, this is Omer Ongun. I am Cihan Erdal's spouse. Cihan has been arbitrarily and unlawfully detained in Turkey, deprived of his freedom and access to education. But we are strong and fighting hard to bring him to his home here in Canada. Please join us at freecihanerdal.ca. And I am honored to be able to share his letter with you through this video. Dear all, I would very much have liked to be there with you today to contribute to the conference with a presentation of the findings of my field research for my doctoral studies. But I've been deprived of this opportunity at a time when people around the world have had to shut themselves away. My story of being shut away is a very different one. On September the 25th, while on a visit to Istanbul to see my family and carry out research, I was detained and taken into custody. I've now been deprived of my freedom for 5 months after a legal investigation in which I gave a statement 6 years ago became the object of an unexpectedly harsh political maneuver. On October the 2nd, I was transferred to my first prison, where for 25 days I was held in a solitary confinement in a cell that could only be described as an extremely modern coffin. I was then transferred to another prison within the same campus, a huge dystopic town on a plain surrounded by mountains, far from the center of Ankara, together with 2 friends with whom I now share a cell. We were moved between different wings of this second prison 3 times. I mention all these because perhaps at future editions of these graduate conferences, I'll be able to share all these field data that I am collecting on the field of sociology of confinement and space. Maybe together we will discuss and debate different experiences, such as being a young prisoner in a high security prison during the pandemic, being an imprisoned academic or an imprisoned member of the LGBTI+ community. I don't want to take up your time speaking about the unlawful nature of my situation or of the Kafkaesque absurdity of the accusations against me. Instead, I would like to share the words of the citizen philosopher Socrates, words that I have always admired. It is better to suffer injustice than to commit it. And I would also like to say that I owe a debt of gratitude to my university, to every member of our department, and to all my friends in the world of academia who have shown their support from the moment I was first taken into custody. There is no time other than the unexpected, the unpredictable. Our individual or collective stories cannot be calculated or predicted. What is unique to humankind is precisely being ready to embrace the unknown and the unexpected. And though I have never, not even for a second, been overwhelmed by regret that I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, I can admit to you that I do feel like an exile in my own home. But at the same time, I do not see this as a great tragedy. Those whose stories unfold differently from the way they had hoped. In other words, the defeated, whether they are exiled, stateless, or imprisoned, had to come up with new questions and methods. At the same time, this is an opportunity. I remember these words of Edward Said. In this world, we must think like a migrant or an exile. Being able to see not only here, but the entire world as a foreign country offers us the chance to develop new perspectives and approaches that will enable us to understand other people's realities. As Arendt says, it's nothing more than to think what we are doing. This is exactly what being exiled in my own home has allowed me to do. It has, for example, given me as an academic the chance to reflect from different positions on the human condition, and indeed the condition of the earth at a time when the digital subject, capital nature, Living creatures in war are intertwined, and to ask new questions about such issues. Questions such as these: in our global world, what can we do against the spirit of the age that draws solid borders between inside and outside, between here and there, between the past and the future? When time is out of joint, what is it that will enable us to exit this time of crisis that is now, and build a new connection between the past and present to achieve justice? How can we remake the world when we lack or are uncertain of our visions of a future that's held hostage to scenarios of ecological disaster, in societies where the concept of the citizen is replaced by a dualism of terrorists and patriots fighting terrorism? How can we clear the way to speak about truth, to be able to intervene in the course of things? Of course, I do not expect to be able to find magical, miraculous answers to such difficult questions. However, I believe that the questions asked by those, whether inside or outside, who feel as though they're in a foreign country, who find themselves with no place to call home, carry the strength to serve as an antidote to the powers that be, to nihilistic processes and to political evils. To end, I would like to refer once again to Arendt, who said, "Truth, though powerless and always defeated, in a head-on clash with the powers that be, possesses a strength of its own. Whatever those in power may contrive, they are unable to discover or invent a viable substitute for it." Between Past and Future, page 255. With the strength that I take from my teachers, my friends, and my loved ones, who are a source of courage and inspiration, I will continue to work for the public good, seeking the truth, reason, and justice without ever losing sight of intellectual integrity. I would like to offer you my thanks for hosting me by way of this letter at your conference, and I send my most heartfelt greetings to everyone who has helped make this conference happen, to all of the valued members of our department, in the hope of crossing paths in our department's corridors in the near future. Cihan Erdal, February 2021, Ankara.